Let's move on now and take a look at some movers in the pre-market this morning as we get you set up for this fresh trading week. Let's bring in Jenny Horn, co-host of Next Gen Investing. A very good morning to you, Jenny. Hope you had a great holiday weekend. Let's start with Tesla. Obviously lower this morning. Some investor concerns around Musk's talk of a third party. Break it down for us.
Yeah, this is very classic. It feels like to discuss on a Monday where we're basically just parsing through all of the commentary from Elon Musk over the weekend, and he was not quiet over this weekend, as we did hear some commentary that he has plans to now form a new political party. Musk did say that the party would be called the America Party, and it would be focusing on just 2 or 3 Senate seats and 8 to 10 House districts. He did suggest this would be enough to serve as the deciding vote on contentious laws, ensuring that they serve the true will of the people. But his involvement in politics has been a pretty consistent pain point, if not this point of contention for a lot of Tesla investors specifically. Musk earlier this year was part of that Department of Government Efficiency and worked very closely with President Trump before having this very public fallout between the president. So Musk did right now say some commentary recently, actually on Tesla's earnings call, that he was really still committed to at least the future of Tesla and showing the shareholders that he was still very much committed to the company. Also did leave Doge in May, which did help actually provide a nice lift for shares. But now we know that the involvement in this political arena has also set back some of the recent recovery. And I think that the commentary is pretty perfectly summarized by Wedbush's Dan Ives. He went on to say that very simply, Musk right now is diving deeper into politics and trying to take on the Beltway establishment, which is exactly the opposite direction that any Tesla investor wants. And he did say that during this crucial time for the Tesla story, while the Musk supporters will back Musk at every point no matter what, there is the broader sense of exhaustion from many Tesla investors that Musk right now is heading down the political track. That's all per Ives. So Musk's previous political foray was not exactly the consistent lift to shares I think that we'd been wanting, because initially, actually, as we know, back into the end of the election cycle, into the end of 2024, it was a huge catalyst. And then we saw the unraveling of that, and even more so as the two sort of duked it out in the political arena, where we saw Musk being very openly critical of Trump regarding the big, beautiful bill. But been signed over the weekend, so that is at least now behind us. And I mean, something of a reality that Musk might have to deal with. But I'll be curious to see this third political party. He's not the first billionaire to mention such a thing, and he's not the first one to mention the value of it. But forming a new political party in our political world is nearly impossible. So I'd say good luck to him there.
Yeah, and it's not also the first time that we've heard investors certainly frustrated with some of Musk's side hustles. And you mentioned that note out from Dan Ives over the weekend, certainly interesting as far as some of his commentary. He says that they remain firmly bullish on Tesla's AI future, but clearly this is not what they want to see as far as overhang on the stock. So what else have you seen as far as what sort of analysts are saying about where we go from here for the stock?
So a bit mixed, because I did read probably the most tried and true optimistic of notes, because Dan Ives has been that consistent bull, which to his credit, he's been right about a lot of the rest of the tech world, so I will give him that. But William Blair now with a more pessimistic tone over the weekend on Tesla, really headwinds from the big beautiful bill, because we have to consider that, yes, while Elon Musk might have stopped criticizing it, it also provided a huge lift for a lot of the investment thesis of Tesla in the last year. So while the big beautiful bill, in William Blair's opinion, does mark the removal of that $7,500 electric vehicle tax credit, the elimination of corporate average fuel economy fines requires now a reset in expectations. They did also say that the combination of a demand headwind from tax credit removals and Tesla's over $2 billion in profits from regulatory credits being at risk may now be too much for investors to bear. So they expect the company's reduction in an overall regulatory credit revenue to result in this direct hit now to their profitability, which prompts yet another at least board reset to street models, in their opinion, of course. So this is just one analyst's conviction or one firm's conviction on Tesla, but they see more of these longer term implications from a result of the reset right now and a lot of these like alternative energy tax credits that we were receiving, of course, under the previous Biden administration.
Okay, and let's switch gears to another story we're tracking this morning, and that is TikTok. We've got a bit of an update on the sale, some conversations over the weekend suggesting we could have some talks happening on the radar. So what do we know about this, Jenny?
So this is amazing because this has been like the truly most maybe forgotten story of all of the political and volatility right now, turbulence we've seen. Everyone's forgotten about what on earth is going on with TikTok, at least maybe as far as my own concerns have really gone. But U.S., of course, President Donald Trump did say on Friday of last week that he will start talking to China on Monday or Tuesday about a possible TikTok deal, saying that the U.S. pretty much has a deal on the sale of the TikTok, of course, app. He said that he thinks we're going to start Monday or Tuesday talking to China, perhaps President Xi or one of his representatives. But we pretty much right now already have a deal, which is, I mean, definitely encouraging. A deal had been in the works, though, set this spring to spin off TikTok's U.S. operations into a new U.S.-based firm, majority owned and operated by U.S. investors. But it was put on hold after China indicated it would not be approving Trump's announcements of steep tariffs on these various Chinese goods. So he did say Trump did say that the U.S. will probably have to get a deal approved by China. I would assume that is correct because, of course, China does majority own this company, but he said they're not confident, but they think so. President Xi and him have a great relationship, and right now it's a good deal for them, and it's also a good deal for us. So I will be curious to see any further developments on the regards of that app over the next coming days because, yeah, I know it was a huge uproar on particularly social media when we saw that was somewhat revoked from U.S. users' access. Then we saw it reinstated as a result of then Trump taking over. And it's just been kind of on the quiet front ever since because there's been, frankly, so much else going on. So I'll be curious any developments on that and what that looks like now as far as like overall majority ownership moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it certainly was put on the back burner for a bit there, wasn't it, Jenny, as everybody so focused on the tariffs, etc. But to your point about China having to also approve this, the foreign ministry was asked about this over in Beijing overnight, to which they basically didn't give any details. We know that they've given no indication thus far that they would approve a sale. So that's a really interesting part of the story as well. Let's see what happens. We know they have concerns about that algorithm and giving up some of that IP. So watch this space. Thank you so much, Jenny Horn. Take care. We'll see you in a bit.